Hello and nothing more. Nothing more. Very good merengue family. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to know everything about Real Madrid. Luka Modric is once again in the spotlight of emerging football markets. This time, it's Qatar that has launched a strong bid, determined to attract a veteran Croatian midfielder to put an end to his legendary career in a championship that, although growing, needs world-renowned figures to consolidate its prestige. And there is no better ambassador for elegant, competitive, and winning football than Luka Modric. At 38 years old, Real Madrid's number 10 continues to demonstrate a category and quality within the reach of very few. His professionalism, dedication, and vision of the game have been, for over a decade, essential pillars of the best Real Madrid in recent history. But the time has come to start saying goodbye. From the Madridista perspective, talking about Modric is talking about a legend, a footballer who arrived in 2012 and who, over the years, not only became one of the best midfielders in the world, but also earned the eternal affection of a demanding fan base that values commitment, effort, and love for the badge more than anyone else. Modric has been much more than a footballer at the Santiago Bernabeu. He has been a silent leader, an example for the youth, and a key figure in the club's golden era, lifting 5 Champions League trophies, several league titles, Super Cups, Copa del Rey trophies, and above all, a Ballon d'Or that rewarded his magic and consistency. But everything has an end, and although it is hard to admit, the time to close this cycle has come. Not because of performance, as he continues to compete at a very high level, but out of respect for his career, for sporting coherence, and for institutional logic. Real Madrid is in the midst of a generational transition. Players like Bellingham, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Valverde, or Arda Güler are already reality. The future is secure, and the present increasingly needs space and prominence for those who will lead the team in the next 10 years. Modric deserves to leave through the front door, not in silence or as a forgotten substitute. He deserves to do so with all honors. And if his destiny is Qatar, with a golden contract and the possibility of continuing to enjoy football in a less demanding context, it is only fair. From a Madridismo perspective, there is only applause for his decision if he chooses to leave. The information coming from Qatar speaks of an irresistible proposal, the interest of a country that wants to elevate its championship to a new dimension and sees Modric as the ideal figure to make that leap. They have already tried before with an offer from the Saudi League that the Croatian rejected out of love for Madrid and his desire to continue competing at the highest level. But time has passed. The contract is nearing its end, and as of today, there are no signs that the club will renew his contract beyond June. There are no meetings, no open negotiations, only silence, and perhaps that is already an answer. Last year, something similar happened. There was also speculation about his departure, and he ended up staying after a sincere chat with Florentino Perez. But this year, the situation is different. The club has strongly bet on youth and rotation in the midfield. Although Modric has been a starter in many important matches, with more than 47 appearances between club and national team this season, his role has changed, and he probably feels it too. No one likes to leave, but a wise man like Modric cannot ignore that football does not forgive the passage of time. In this context, the departure to Qatar should not be seen as a betrayal, but as a mature, responsible, and even logical decision. It is not about a hasty retirement or a backdoor exit. It is about choosing the end of the movie, writing the last chapter with the same elegance with which he wrote all the previous ones. And if this last chapter is on Qatari soil, with the recognition he deserves, a contract that reflects his status, and the possibility of continuing to be a protagonist, then Madridismo can only raise a cup and toast to everything experienced. The white fan base, always demanding but also grateful, will know how to say goodbye to Luka as he deserves, with thunderous ovation, banners of affection, tears, and pride. Because what Modric has given to Real Madrid is priceless. No one will forget his goal against Manchester United in the Super Cup, his masterclass against Bayern in the Champions League semifinals, his pinpoint assist to Cristiano Ronaldo, his dominance in Kiev, Cardiff, Lisbon. No one will forget his dedication, his humility, his shy smile after each title. Modric is leaving, yes, but his legacy is eternal. And if there is still a chance that he will continue, it will be Luka himself who decides. No one will close the door on him, but the club, faithful to his philosophy, must also look to the future and do so without resentment, without drama, because this is Real Madrid, and because even the farewells here are done with greatness. Thank you, Luka. Thank you for every pass, every effort, every magical night. Thank you for making history with us. You have earned the respect, admiration, and affection of all Madridismo. If you decide to go to Qatar, do so with your head held high. Here, this will always be your home. The departure of Luka Modric, in addition to representing the end of the golden era at Real Madrid, must also be interpreted as a valuable opportunity for new club jewels to step forward. Madrid never stops, and if anything has been demonstrated by Florentino Perez in recent years, it is his ability to build the future without forgetting the past, always betting on young talent that represents the continuity of success. Therefore, if Modric finally decides to embark on his adventure in Qatar, the name Arda Güler must take a leading role in the new narrative of the Blanco midfield. Güler is not just any player. The young Turk arrived at Real Madrid as one of the most coveted promises in European football, technically exquisite, with a silky left foot and a game intelligence beyond his years. Arda embodies that perfect mix of natural talent and silent ambition. His season, marked by some injuries, has not been easy. However, every time he has had minutes, he has shown flashes of his potential. And now, without Modric ahead of him, the stage is clear for him to have the continuity he so desperately needs to finally explode. The position that Modric leaves vacant is not just any position. It is a creative, cerebral role of balance and imbalance in equal parts. And if there is someone in the current squad who can take up that mantle, it is Güler. With minutes, confidence, and patience, the young Turk can become a decisive player. The Bernabeu, which has always known how to identify special talent, has already shown its enthusiasm every time Arda has stepped onto the pitch. Now, with a season ahead of him without the shadow of a legend like Luka, Güler has a golden opportunity to show why Madrid trusted him and snatched him away from the giants of Europe. But it is not only Güler who directly benefits from this restructuring. Modric's departure also opens a very interesting door, the possible return of Nico Paz. The young Argentine midfielder, who has been on loan in Serie A to gain experience and quality minutes, has impressed with his maturity, physical deployment, and ability to adapt to such tactical and demanding football as Italian football. His loan has been a complete success. He has grown as a footballer and has clearly shown that he is ready to return and compete for a place in Real Madrid's first team. Nico is a different, complementary profile, more vertical, with a rival goal from the second line, and a privileged physique that makes him useful in various roles in the midfield. In a squad that combines power, technique, and youth, his return can be key to maintaining that rich rotation and variance that Carlo Ancelotti values so much. Modric's departure should not be filled with an external signing. The club already has the necessary talent at home, and now is the perfect time to bet on those players who with a badge on their skin and who have been formed under the values of Madridismo. The generational transition should not be seen as a problem, but as an opportunity to renew energy without losing identity. Modric has been a compass for an entire generation. His departure leaves an emotional void, but also a clear path. It is time for Arda Güler to start walking firmly down that path. It is time for Nico Paz to return hungry and earn his place in the elite. It is time to look to the future without fear, because if anything has been demonstrated by this club, it is that it is always one step ahead of the rest. With the current structure, the Real Madrid midfield is more than capable of facing the challenges ahead. Valverde, Tchouaméni, Camavinga, and Bellingham form a solid, versatile core full of energy. But each of them needs that touch of fantasy that Modric offered, and that must now be assumed by new creative minds. Arda Güler is called to be that differential player, that link between midfield and attack, that generator of magic. And Nico Paz, with his versatility, can offer solutions both in closed games and in moments of rapid transition. Moreover, from the sports management, it is very positively valued that these movements reinforce the policy of integrating young talent without resorting to the market in a hurried manner. Real Madrid does not need to look outside when it has the natural relief ready inside. The objective is to continue competing at the highest level, but also to build a team with identity, commitment, and projection. Modric's departure will undoubtedly mark before and after, but it will not be the end of anything. It will be the beginning of something new, because Madrid does not stop, because Luka's legacy will not be erased, but will inspire those who come after, and because the future is already here, waiting for its opportunity. Güler and Nico Paz represent that future. Young, talented, ambitious, and above all Madridistas. Leave us your opinion in the comments.